Hello folks, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm tired. I'm tired. It's a bit early, so forgive me if it's a bit quiet. But I'm tired. I've had enough. I swear I'm done. I swear I'm done. But I'm not done with you guys. I'm not done with you guys. I'm tired of my people. I'm tired of the people falling for your nonsense, falling for your BS. That's what I'm really tired of. Yeah. You ticked me off this morning, seriously. Seriously. I'm not done with you guys. I'm never done with you guys. You're not gonna wear me out. I'm tired of all your nonsense. Because I see you. I see you. And I may be the runt of the litter, but I don't care. I'm gonna speak. You know this already. I'm gonna speak. And I'm not just gonna speak among my peers. I'm gonna speak to you. Because our Heavenly Father, Father Yah, the God of this earth, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, He promises to contend with those who contend with us. He will contend with you. And you know the kind of things which I pray about, because it is, I swear it's time. It's time, man. It's time. Just back off. Back off. You don't think about the people. You only think about yourselves. And the Most High has special plans for you, so I haven't got to speak about that or worry about that. But all these minions, all these people who are doing these things just for a job, because they like it, they find it exciting. All the monitors, the stalkers and everything. People fiddling online. It's time. It's gotta be time. It's time. These slow warnings. You hear the message. I think something just clicked last night, I swear. There was heavy rumbles from the heavens last night, right after the stroke of midnight. Don't be surprised if stuff starts happening to you. We will never know about it. You will never advertise it. People won't let you find out. But all you people employed by these people, stop now and tell the truth, or just step away. because things have to get serious. That's why you have to call your master. That's why you have to bring the mark. That's why you have to change this whole thing, because it's all falling apart. It's all falling apart. All these smart people using their skills that they went to school to bring out the truth. Then you got us Israelites. We're tearing it all down. We're tearing it all down. We're not even a spanner in the works. We are a heavy duty wrench and a bag of lug nuts in the works. All your nonsense is falling apart. I see your games, I see your devices, I see it. I see it. Because you've had your fun and games with me, you know this. You know this, you've had your fun and games with me, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice. I'm sorry I'm compelled to speak. I've had enough, man. I've had enough. And there's no need to prophesy or anything like that. The word is all in the book. It's all in the book. Thus says the Father Yah. Thus says our Elohim. It's all been laid out already. I'll read it to you. The words. We manifest. Put them into action. I don't just read them. I speak them. All your nonsense news stories and all your shenanigans on social media, I see it. I see it. I see it. There's a lot of people that don't understand how you are working in these algorithms. But I see it. Anyone who believes that a billionaire is on their side, you're still asleep. Don't even talk about the Matrix. Don't even talk about the Matrix. You see this stuff with X in Brazil? Don't take my word for it. I'm just speculating here. Don't take my word for it, but I reckon it's because they caught you. They caught you. All this shit stirring, BS race baiting accounts. A lot of them coming out of South America. Some people were good. They're good on the keyboard. You like to mock them and call them keyboard warriors and blah, blah, blah. But they've had enough as well. And they've been exposing these people. A lot of these accounts, they come out of South America. No wonder they shut down your offices in Brazil. And you didn't even fight the case. That says a lot. It's very telling. It's very telling. I'm championing for the people. No way. No way. Just give it time. They'll see you turn coat and just conform and forget about the people. You don't care about the people. Freedom of speech and all that. What you did is you provided the platform. So they now have the excuse to go in with the censorship and everything. Manufacturing consent. see deeper into these things. And you dropped your tweet at that perfect moment. Civil war is inevitable. We all know. We all know. If the people want a hero, we'll give them a hero. If there's to be a revolution, we'll control it. You've done told on yourselves. Yeah, man. You've done told on yourselves. I ain't falling for this nonsense. I'm really tired of it. And I see it. I just go through my algorithms. Not interested. Not interested. Not interested. %75% of what's on our screens, on the big screen and on the little screens, rubbish. Not falling for it. Not falling for it. Evil geniuses. Media superpowers. I ain't falling for it. And the reason why I say you're evil geniuses is because you make it so that we can't say something because we look like the bad guys. And that's why I say the old rabbit hole, because I know you're operating in the new rabbit hole, muddying the waters, putting nonsense out there. Creepy TikTok videos which might change your perception on the world. Yeah, I see you, man. I see you. It's so deep, man. It's so deep. But I have to say something. I have to. And like I mentioned in one of my old videos a couple of months back, when I was talking about indoctrination through education during that university campus fiasco, which just come and went just like that, after people started spotting your nonsense and it just all disappears. We all saw how organized it is. You guys, you're on the ropes. You're on the ropes. And like I said, it really doesn't matter that you have the youngsters, that you have the numbskulls. It really doesn't matter. You're on the ropes. Seriously. Well, like I said in that video, I said I didn't want to talk about Gaza for respect for the dead. But the reason why I have to say something now is because I know how you guys adapt. But I've waited this long is because there's so much footage now. There's so much footage which people can go back and see. Just like in October last year, when I pointed out that tomfoolery in Ukraine with the 10-year-old boy who's supposed to be buried under all the rubble, and I pointed out it was actually Resusciani, the first aid doll. And then for months after that, nobody cared about Ukraine. It was always Israel, 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 Israel. Well, basically what I'm saying is, I'm just going to ask a question. It's just a question. It's just a question. Now, I ain't denying that people ain't dying. I'm not saying people ain't losing their homes. But it's just a question. And there's more, but I'm only going to say one thing. Just to get people thinking. Just to get people to look a little bit deeper. You play too many games, I'm sorry. And it's hard. It's hard. I don't want to do this. I don't want to say this. But it's just a question. When I see all this footage, which I've been watching regularly, because after a while people go numb to it, they turn off, they don't want to see it. Even our main news channels, they don't want to broadcast it anymore. Only Al Jazeera is left. Only Al Jazeera. And I'm not upholding Al Jazeera, because I know all the news channels are controlled. Even the alternative ones. Excuse me, but let me get to my point, and it's just a question. Why do all the men in Gaza, why do all the men under 50, why do they all have haircuts? Why do they all have haircuts? I mean, fair enough, they could be adamant that they're still going to live their lives as normal. But tens of thousands of people, 100,000 people, 200,000 people, 500,000 people, all the men have haircuts. Don't get angry with me. Watch the footage, watch the news. And it's not as if these men, they can just adapt, and these men can just grow their hair in a day or in a week. Look at their hair. Nobody's got overgrown hair. I'm hearing... Look, all I'm saying is, I see it's hard, man. If I've lost half my family, I've lost my home, and I don't know if I'm living tomorrow, the last thing on my mind is getting a haircut. All the men have haircuts. And I could go on, I swear, these little details, but I'm going to leave it there. Over here we just got constant news stories, stabbing, stabbing, stabbing. Every time you turn on, every day, stabbing, stabbing, stabbing. And it's not the fact that, oh, it's getting worse and blah, blah, blah. Because all throughout the decades, there's been stabbings and violence. They just haven't chose to put it on the news. But now they choose, you choose to put it on the news all the time. Constantly. Constantly. You see, people don't take these things seriously. This street theatre is a real thing. It's a real thing. And also what I get annoyed with, which was a lot on X, is that you see these 30-second clips and then people want to put a whole story behind it, and it's like, come on, man. Come on, man. You got a whole story behind it. It's a 30-second clip. Anyone can do that. They're doing it on the news now. Oh, these are Venezuelans, blah, blah, blah. These Venezuelans doing this. Venezuelan gangs. oh, the bikers are going to fight the Venezuelan gangs. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll wait. Yeah, I'll wait. How many days has it been now? You can't just show us a 30-second clip and then just say, oh, these are Venezuelan gangs, they did this, they did that. Number one, who says they're Venezuelan? Well, I just see guys in masks. These could be paid off actors. And one thing you always got to keep into your mind is everybody has a camera in their pocket. You see two women arguing in the street, there's at least 3 people got their cameras out filming. People just love to whip their cameras out to film. And you want to show us some grainy footage and put a whole story behind it. But we also know how you operate. You could be paying anyone to do these things. And the worst thing about it is that I notice, just like you did with the Irish, just like what I said about the Irish and the Italian who came over during the early 1900s, their ancestors are now saying the same thing. Oh, these immigrants, blah, blah, blah. The same thing which was said to them, to their grandfathers, they're now saying to other people. You guys are sick, man. You're really sick. You think you can play your games and say, where is your God? No one sees. No one sees. And the God of Israel doesn't take this into account. And now you got our people doing it, provoking them to jealousy. The same thing which was said about them in the 90s. Oh, these people have come to take over. Oh, they get free stuff. Oh, they're gangs causing violence on the street and crime. Same stuff. Mind games. Endless mind games. All by design. You're sick people, man. You really got it coming to you, seriously. I see it, and I'm gonna speak. Why should we even believe that Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison? She's probably in house arrest, still in her mansion. And she's not there for punishment. She's just there so that nobody clocks her on the street and say, shouldn't you be in prison? Shouldn't this woman be in prison? Click, 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 click. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if you've bumped her off. Show us her. Show us her. Show us her in her oranges. I can't imagine anyone writing home saying, dear mum, you'll never guess who my cellmate is. And Bryn, you should be really, really furious. You should be really pissed off that your prince was used as a scapegoat for all this perverted. And there were so many partakers walking around now without a care in the world. And your prince has been erased. We see where the real power lies. People like me, I see where the real power lies. You see, the Most High, who works in mysterious ways. Why should we believe that we'll get justice over here in the UK with all the crimes which have been brought out, and you keep delaying justice, dragging out inquiries, dragging out. See, Mr. Superintendent, you should be rubbing your hands at the high value scalps which are on offer. You should be salivating at the thought of slamming the gates on these bigwigs. But you know, we know how it really works. The judges, you yourself, Mr. Superintendent, they're probably looking for connections, a friend of a friend of a friend. What is he like? What have we got on him? How can we get him? And Mr. Starmer, you really don't know what kind of a rock and a hard place you're in right now. You really don't know. You forget who you are now, and don't forget who you were. You're two very important men in one suit now. And with all these cases with the, what's the word? The make-believe COVID inquiry, the blood inquiry, the Grenfell inquiry, and the post office inquiry, all these things you've got on your plate. Which your peers and your predecessors danced around, they dodged it. That's why you keep playing. They played musical chairs, so there's no one actually to blame. And now they've landed you in such a deep hole. And you've only been in office 10 minutes and everybody's jumping on you already. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. You've been in office 10 minutes and everyone's blaming you for this and that and blah, blah, blah. This is how we know it's just all a charade. It's just all a charade. If I believed in politics, I'd be saying, oh, we need to keep you in power for at least a decade. And we sit and wait for results. But you're in such a deep hole, you can't do nothing. They'll be screaming to get you out in 3 years. It's just so stupid. You got the people going round and round in circles. Anyway, back to my point. You're two very important men in one suit. And with these 4 very important issues, which the people are watching and waiting, which have landed in your lap, this is where your deputy has to step up, because during these cases, you're going to have to take time and sit in. Because now you're the big boss, but you're also a lawyer. So you can sit in these court cases and really understand and know what's going on, what's been said. And guess who's watching? You are who you are. They may have put you in place for a reason, but the Father works in mysterious ways. I feel sorry for you, sir. I really do. Because you've been put in an important, possible position. And we all know you're one big... This is all one big organized crime racket. Prove us wrong. But then even then you can just fake all the sentencing and everything. And like I said, but like, how do we know this woman's in jail? Can we even trust? Let's not go there. Let me just stay on the important points. The father moves in mysterious ways. Let's go back to Grenfell, yeah? The reason why I'm all done with you and people need to wake up, but they won't. Because the indoctrination and the programming is just... It's perfect. It's perfect. This is... Oh, man. The father works in mysterious ways. Because the first anniversary of Grenfell, the first anniversary of Grenfell, you sent the Queen there instead. Why did you send the Queen there when the Prime Minister should have been there? Because this was a government issue. Why? Why was the Queen sent there instead of the Prime Minister? This is why we should never trust you. Never ever trust you toffs. The Conservatives, they should never be in power. And we should never ever trust politicians. It's all a load of rubbish. Where was the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister was having dinner with the top bankers. I know because I served them. I served them. I served them. The Father works in mysterious ways. You play too many games with me. Now you know I'm not afraid to speak. I have these things because I collect them. I collect them. And now I know why I grabbed that. So we know what's truly important to you and who really runs the country. You go to the city of London, you will see the flags of allegiance. All of pastel coloured and rainbow flags got to do with banking. What's the pastel coloured flag and rainbow flags flying high above one of the leading construction companies? Pledging allegiance to the flag. It's more than what it seems. It's more than what it seems. Tired of your games. Tired of your games. Migrant smuggling gangs. Migrant smuggling gangs. Please. Please. It's all part of the plan. You're coming with new stories about migrant smugglers being arrested. You're telling me that 20, 40 people in bright orange life jackets carrying a giant dinghy and just slip past the authorities. But you can catch people coming over with cocaine, coming over with marijuana. Please. You're all in it together. I'm tired, man. I'm tired of people falling for it. I'm not going to react to your stupid news stories. I'll laugh. I'll laugh. Because I can see the holes, I can see the gaps. And I always ask, just the same with NASA, I always ask, what am I not seeing? What am I not seeing? They go into space and they still show us the same angles. They still show us nothing. And the technology's come so far and they still show us nothing. I just ask the questions now. I ask the question. And it's up to whoever to think. But I'm not going to tell you everything because I know how you adapt. I know how you adapt. But there's plenty of footage now. What's the point in camouflage if you're going to have bright blue tape around your uniform? I don't know. It's just a question. It's just a question. Yeah, also, I spot your agents as well. I spot your agents within our community, within the family. But it's going to do too much damage to say. It's best not to cause discord because that's what you want. That's what you want. But I see one of your main agents, he's disappeared. He's disappeared. I had my eye on that dude. He was flip-flopping here and there, flip-flopping here and there. Where is he now? Because you know he slipped up. Come to Africa. Don't come to Africa. Come to Africa. The name of the channel was encouraging people to come to Africa. But then he was constantly putting out videos to discourage people from coming. You line up those planes and you line up those boats. See if we don't get on them. You can flood the news with pandemics, with war, with famine. See if we don't get on them boats and them planes. Just send us home. Just get rid of us. It will free up space. It will ease tensions. Just send us home. Do the right thing and the Most High will pull his punches. You keep this thing going to the last minute. Because all the usury. What have these people, what have these men on the Blue Star, what have they got on you in America? We know they're holding on to your secrets. They've been doing this for centuries, as well as the usury, the spies, the information, by way of deception. The usury, we went through this in Habakkuk, laden with thick clay. Do the right thing, just send us home. We know you ain't going to tell the truth, just send us home. And the Most High will pull his punches. He may just pull his punches. He won't put proper hip and shoulder into it. You really ain't thinking of your own people. You ain't thinking of the little ones. It happened to us. It happened to us. There's debts to be paid. And you know what you have to do. But you only think of yourselves. You and your little protection racket, your organised crime. The guys behind the curtain. I don't even have to talk about them. Most High has special plans for these people. It's there, it's written, it's written. Don't get upset, this is the Bible. This harmless book, which is collecting dust on the shelf, on the coffee table, hanging around the house for generations, in our grandparents' generation, in my parents' generation, and in our generations. This dusty book, which nobody picks up, nobody reads. It's been in there all this time. It's been harmless. Don't get angry. Yeah, just send us home. Just send us home. You think it's funny. You think it's funny. Just send us home. But none of you want us to go. You don't want us to go. You all want us to stay here. This is why I know you're all in this together. You're all in this together. Just think about it. Once we go, then who becomes the new object of scorn? The Browns. The Muslims and the Indians and the Pakistanis and the Bengalis. Once they go, who's the new object of scorn? Then it's the Turks and the Asians. And once they go, it's anyone else. And once they're gone, you're just going to be left to fight among yourselves like of old days. just going to be left to fight among yourselves, just like in the old days. I don't know whether I'm quoting the old playbook, whether it was in a movie or I read it somewhere in a book. Give the people someone to hate, someone to look down on, and they won't even notice how much they're being abused, how much they're being robbed, how much they're being taken advantage of. There's always need to be someone at the bottom. And we're tired of it now. We're tired. The very least you could do is let the first wave go. The people who want to go. Let us go. See if we don't jump on them boats. Because I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm going to use my voice and I'm asking, let us go. And just let us go. Make your arrangements. Make your arrangements. But we know it's written, it's written. These things have to pass, have to come to pass. And yeah, oh, man, it doesn't matter. You can laugh, you can joke, you can play this game. But always remember the Most High started again with 8 people. Now he's not going to do that again, obviously. But we're just waiting this thing out. I know it has to get worse. I'm just sitting here patient now. Because one thing that's for certain, we may not know what's really going on, but there's always one thing that's for certain. With whatever war is going on, there's always one thing that's for certain. One thing's for certain is that there'll be billions of dollars in the rebuilding process. And I don't want to hear no complaining and no whinging and whining from any European countries when the Palestinians are being moved into Europe. And the rich you-know-who's from Britain and the rich you-know-who's from the States are now moving in. I don't want to hear none of it. Because it's just the same thing again, decade after decade after decade. You stay silent about the bombs, but then you complain about the boats. We're listening. We're listening. Most High is listening. That's why I find it a little bit embarrassing that we now say the same things. Because I know it's all your work. But you're being drawn in. And oh man, you're being drawn in. Most High's just letting you be bold and confident. The rope-a-dope, and you're falling for it. You're swinging big shots. You're swinging big shots. Letting you get cocky, letting you get confident. Let's go, man. Seriously. I know it's not going to be funny. You can see I'm enjoying my walk right now. You know, I laugh, I giggle, I jest. I'm singing songs. But I know there's going to be a time when it's not going to be funny. It's going to be a very painful time. Because that's what it's going to take to wake up the rest of the family, to wake up the rest of the world. It has to get worse before it gets better. Before we get to rejoicing. It has to get really bad. And that point where it gets really bad is you doing something really foolish and kicking this thing off. And really... the wrath. But you're prepared for the wrath, aren't you? The everyday people aren't. And they feel that something's wrong. They feel that something's not right. They know something's coming deep down in their soul, but they push it away. They think, do you know what? We've always been fine. We've always been fine. And they just go out and they have drinks and they have fun and they just put it out of their minds. Even though people ain't even got the money to do it and stuff, they just need to go out and find something to forget. They can't even watch the television because they and they bury themselves in nonsense TV, burying them heads in the sand. It's evil geniuses. I see you. Just let us go. Because it's going to be so awkward when the screaming and begging starts. I might not be around for that. This is why I talk now. Because one day you can... It's coming. The censorship's coming. One day the internet can go down. I don't know how many days I have left. None of us can be sure of what tomorrow brings, what next week brings, what next month brings, what next year brings. And we know the destruction is coming. So I'm going to speak now. Make your plans. Do the right thing. He may just pull his punches. Family, it's time we used our voices.